At this event, global leaders from all over the world came together to share the latest perspectives on the circular economy. Just to give you a context, if you combine the revenue of all companies that were in the room for a wider circular economy, and you would express this number as GDP, this room would have been the 8th largest economy on the planet. I was fortunate enough to be able to present about how renewable materials fit into the context of a wider circular economy. How have we done so far? Only 9% all plastic ever discarded since 1950s has actually been recycled. By 2050, plastic production is expected to quadruple. By 2050, we could have more plastics than fish in the world's ocean. The plastic challenge is far more than a waste challenge. Plastic production will represent 15% of the global carbon budget. We still have to act now to deal with plastics in our current economy. Otherwise, meeting a 1.5 or 2% degree target is not possible. It is very important to have a mature conversation about plastics. Plastics are an amazing material that have enormous benefits. The challenge is, how do we use this material? How do we include design? How do we make it and dispose of it at the end of its life? I don't want to make the plastic issue sound smaller than it is. Plastic waste is an undeniably large global challenge, but there are visions for a future global economy where plastics never becomes waste. One of the driving forces behind that is the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and specifically their report on the new plastics economy, rethinking the future of plastics. This vision is based on circular economy principles, and countries in Europe, like the United Kingdom, Germany, or the Nordic countries, are already adopting it. The 6 R's of the new plastics economy. Refuse. We all know the pictures of bananas peeled and then wrapped in single-use plastics and put on the shelf again. The answer to this is very simple: you refuse it. But it's also very important to note that under-packaging is just as much of an issue as unnecessary packaging. So it is really important to differentiate the two of them. Reuse. New business models are emerging. For example, Loop in the United States will send you name-branded products like your favorite ice cream, your favorite yogurt, or your dishwashing or laundry detergents in reusable packaging. When you're done, you ship the empty container back. Loop will come and pick it up, where it gets cleaned and then reused. Reduce. This goes very much in line with new materials, design thinking, over or under packaging. In this example, Eco 6-pack rings. So these are the first eco-friendly 6-pack rings made from a byproduct waste or could be made from other compostable materials. Redesign. This was a really big topic at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation Summit. How are products easily disassembled at the end? Design for reuse, recycle, compostability. It became clear that brands that are focused on larger long-term outcomes and are actually doing good in a sustainable sense are performing up to 70% better than the rest of the market. This picture here shows the panel discussion, and the gentleman here with the back to you is a designer from Adidas. And he's talking about the Futurecraft 4D, a fully recyclable shoe made out of one material and designed with circular economy principles in mind. Recycle. Just recycling is not good enough. If we keep going as we do, we will end somewhere in this 9% recycling rate. The challenge is much bigger than just recycling. Renew, this is the new kid on the block. This is the big opportunity for New Zealand. This is where we can make a difference in the circular economy game. Even if we do the 5 Rs before, we will always need new material. How do you use renewable carbon instead of petrochemical carbon? And this renewable material will come from renewable and sustainable resources. Let me focus on 2 of the 6 Rs and show how science and innovation can make a difference. So it is important to look at recycling differently. Let me use an example from Scotland to illustrate that. The project Lodestar. It is about designing a model for an all-plastics recycling facility. The project Lodestar participants are from across the whole value chain. They are recyclers, they are brand owners, they are manufacturers, they are regional councils. All of them joined forces to design an advanced plastic reprocessing facility combining state-of-the-art mechanical recycling and chemical recycling. It all started with collecting plastics. An advanced reprocessing facility has to deal with one bin, and all we ask the consumer is to put just anything that looks remotely like plastic into this one bin. Let's look at the aim of maintaining the plastic carbon in the material cycle so we do not produce carbon emissions. Obviously, the most efficient way of plastic carbon recycling is to recycle the whole product. If this is not possible, mechanical recycling is the next stage. Like Flight Plastics here in New Zealand already does, with specific types of PET. They are recycled into new raw materials without changing the basic structure of the material. Any plastic that can't undergo mechanical recycling can be recycled chemically. So here are the plastics turned back into the chemical monomers. This does not work for all plastics, and so finally thermochemical recycling. This step would turn the remaining plastic waste into petroleum-like feedstock that could enter the whole refinery process again. Biodegradation is essentially just another form of recycling. The material breaks down to CO2 and water, but if we consider renewable materials like bioplastics, then CO2 produced will simply enter the material cycle through the renewable materials again. The outcome of the Lodestar model resulted in a more economical and more sustainable by carbon footprint compared to a conventional recycling setup. In May 2019, a new Scion-led project working with New Zealand's plastic industry to build our own roadmap for a new plastics economy was announced. It builds on rethinking plastics in New Zealand, an initiative started by the Prime Minister's Chief Science Advisor, Juliet Gerard. The project team will be working closely with the Packaging Council of New Zealand, Plastics New Zealand, and the Sustainable Business Network. Renewable materials are the big but often overlooked opportunity in the context of a circular and circular bioeconomy. Even the best reuse systems will rely on new feedstock, and this feedstock will come from renewable and sustainable resources. This is the big opportunity for New Zealand. Instead of shipping our biobased and renewable resources offshore, we can value add to them onshore and export higher value goods. Not many countries have this opportunity like New Zealand has. Utilization of bark and how to take single-use plastics with bio-based solutions. Coming up with methods that can extract and refine high-value chemicals and create new products in a bark biorefinery is at the heart of this new 5-year Scion-led research program. Bark biorefinery technologies provide a new economic opportunity to convert an underutilized waste stream into a range of high-value materials and products. By 2050, we could have up to 15 refineries. These could earn an estimated 400 to 600 million per annum. With infrastructure and relevant policies in place, regional biorefineries have the potential to add several thousands of new regional jobs by 2050. Following global trends, by 2060, these numbers could quadruple. In some areas, recyclable plastics are just not suitable. Some viticulture and horticulture applications are examples for this. We are developing customized solutions such as these wine clips, which are made of compostable polymers and waste from winemaking. These clips hold netting on the wines for several months, and when the nets are removed, they break, fall to the ground, and turn into CO2 and water. The new plastics economy, the 6 R's: refuse, reuse, reduce, redesign, recycle, and the big opportunity for New Zealand, renew. Keep plastics carbon in the material cycle. Think cascaded and carbon recycling. And there are renewable solutions out there. Think about biorefineries. Think about customized, biodegradable, single-use plastics solutions. It is a long and hard journey, but it starts with each and every one of us. Be the change you want to see. Positive takeaway should be we can do something about the waste issue. The economy is not a force of nature. It is created by our decisions. It has been designed, and it is possible for people to redesign it into a circular economy. Thank you.